Okay, welcome. This is the Spider 32 back with another video. And this is the season finale of, this is the season 3 finale. I mean, instead of the season 4 intro, like, right after the season finale, means I'm not in chronological order. I'm really sorry about that, but it's not a cure there. And what I'm going to be reading is another excerpt from an old channel. Just gonna wrap this in. I'm not gonna make this too long. If anyone wants to join, you're certainly welcome. Now, there we go. And now, with that being out of the way, let us begin. I'm in the process of making a rather long video, and one of the points I wanted to make was against the accusation that MGTOW just want to be victims. Well, I typed up a long and complete statement, and then I realized there's a way of shortening my response to this accusation, and so I went with that. However, it removes so much detail that I think it really paints a big picture of this phenomenon. So I'm going to make this its own video. MGTOW just wants to be victims. I'm sure you've all heard this one before. You just want to be victims. You just create a victim narrative. That's just like a feminist. And now that's just like a social justice warrior. Who isn't trying to be a victim? And what I mean by that is, who's fighting for their human rights can't be called accused of wanting to be a victim. Anyone fighting for political change is painting themselves as a victim. Why fight against feminism? Who are they hurting? Feminism isn't hurting anyone. If feminists aren't hurting anyone, why fight them? Who are they hurting? If you say they're hurting men, congratulations, you just want to be a victim. And the common argument here is, if people are willingly marrying and taking the plunge, who are you to decide for them that they're victims? That is a tough one to answer in any concise way without going off on a serious and long tangent. Summarized, the argument is you're conflating wanting with willing. People pay taxes because they're willing, not because they really enjoy paying taxes. They're given a choice. Don't work and thus don't pay taxes. Or work and not pay taxes and go to jail for tax evasion, or work and pay taxes. He chooses the third, not because it's what he wants to do, but because he is willing to do so. It's the lesser of three evils. If a man pays a prostitute or a sex cam girl for sexual favors, he doesn't want to cough up money for the service. But he is willing to. If the sex cam girl and the hooker or the phone sex girl gave him a choice of paying $5.99 a minute, or we can do this for free. If that choice were there, he would want to go with the free option. But because the woman is in charge, she sets the price and doesn't give him the free option. And so he's weak. And he's so weak and needy that he needs to give in and is willing to pay the money for her service. Apply that to your sit around the housewife costing you money. You'd rather be able to save that money, but she's in charge and not really putting it out there as an option. So you are willing to pay for her services as wife. Men are willing to pay for women. Women are not willing to do the same because women are right when they say, you need us women more than we need you men. Also, the Stratcon argument becomes a bit of a dirty tactic. Allow me to explain. Stratcon says, if people are willingly marrying and taking the plunge, then they're not victims. How dare you denounce marriage? I counter that by saying, Jackie says, if people are willing to shoot heroin of their own free will, then they're not victims. How dare you preach heroin is bad for your health? This is also recently coming about when people want to say MGTOW can get married. A man can be perfectly free and going his own way and married. The response is, you're not going your own way, you're going your wife's way, or something to that effect. To which he will respond, no, I'm not, I'm doing what I want. And we mentioned that he does as much as he allows. He does as much as she allows him. Ultimately, the power of divorce is in her hands. She has the power. We mentioned that marriage is exploitative of men, and they will say, "How dare you decide what? How dare you decide for me what's exploitative?" And that's the convoluted mess that ends up with this shit about. You're trying to determine for me that I'm a victim, thus you're painting a necessary victim narrative. Just like the feminist social justice word, blah, 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 left is this, left is that, blah, blah. Problem with this argument is that it takes an abstract political and unnecessary turns into a personal issue that you're not allowed to disagree with unless you attack him directly. Quite frankly, this is a dirty tactic. It's a matter of me saying heroin is an addictive drug, and you saying I shoot heroin, so you're trying to call me an addict? You don't know me. How dare you pass judgment on me? I declare that I'm not an addict. This heroin is not addictive, and the efforts to claim heroin is addictive is an example of you trying to tell me that you know better than me, that you know me better than I know myself. You don't get to decide. You don't get to decide for me whether or not I'm an addict. That's pinning a victim narrative. So retract your statement that heroin is an addict, is an addictive drug that ruins lives, or stand guilty of being a social justice warrior. A way of explaining what a dirty tactic this is to remind you of the male feminist position. A men's rights activist says women are more privileged. Women are privileged over men. The male feminist says, as a man, I know that I'm not underprivileged. Thus, men's rights activists are full of shit. Imagine if the male feminist were to take an argument one step further and say, and if you try to tell me as a man that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm a victim of feminism, then you're here to decide for me, a man, that I am a victim. No, because I, a man, proclaim that I am not a victim, and you cannot claim men are, then if men are not victims of feminism or inequality, then MRAs are full of shit misogynists. You're doing that right there. Stop it. That's a dirty way to argue and you know it. Unless you're just really fucking stupid, which in case, stop it because your stupidity is showing. When Tricons say, you can't say marriage is exploitative of men because I'm married and I don't feel exploited. This is the same as a male feminist saying, you can't say men are marginalized because I'm a man and I don't feel marginalized. Disagree with that male feminist, and men's rights activists just want to be victims. Okay. I think that's going to wrap it up for me here. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Spider 32, and I'm done here. Peace out, guys.